Hello everyone, my name is Hisham. I'm the owner of Clemson Aeronautics, where we make the riveting and dimpling systems. In today's video, we are going to be dimpling most of the parts that we have prepared in the last couple of videos. And in this process, we're going to be using our own dimpling option here to speed things up and to give us more consistent dimple. Of course, you don't have to use this. You can use just the squeezer by itself with a regular yoke, I guess. And I just don't want to be just carrying this squeezer all the time and the parts and stuff like that. So I created this dimpling system here, that option that you can use from our machine, the adapter for it, and just place it into place here and dimple your parts a little bit easier. Setting up this system is really easy. The way you receive it at home is just this bottom part, and it has 3 holes in it. And what I've done is I just screwed it down with a regular construction screws to a 2x4. Now I can screw that 2x4 to any place I want to. I can raise it, I can lower it, or whatever. I can do it from the side of the 2x4, whatever makes you more comfortable. In this case right here, I decided I'm gonna screw it to the side of the table just to put it at the level that will be comfortable for me. Setting up for this particular job with these ribs, don't drop them. That's the first thing. And when you do, make sure you didn't damage anything. But anyhow, I use the reduced female dimpling die, and it's on the bottom. Why? Because all of these have curvature in the middle there, and some of them are closer than others and stuff, so I just got used to using that reduced one. And on the top is, of course, the male die, and it will have no obstacles on it to worry about. So I set up my squeezer and I put it into place, and now when I pull the trigger on the squeezer and it goes all the way down, before I attempt to do that, I need to make sure that the pin is far in enough inside the squeezer where when it comes all the way down, it does not hit the bottom one. So the male die on top does not actually touch the female die on the bottom. And I can use it by hand. I can move it by hand now. There is a gap in there. And I would hold the trigger like that, and I would unscrew the squeezer pin like I'm doing right now till I finger tight. It doesn't want to go any further. So now this is touching. Now, on the pin there is flats. I want to make sure that I would turn that now to get the pin to move out about 1/3 of a turn or so. Not more than that, maybe half a turn at the most. maybe that was a little bit too much too. I'm going to back up a little bit. I think this is good. Now it's going down touching, and it's squeezing another 10 or 12 thousandths of an inch. There is not much give in here, and there is not much flex. That's why we don't increase it too much. Now we're going to add a piece of aluminum that goes between the two dies, so it will be squeezing even harder. So we're going to take this piece, for instance, right here, and we have to dimple flush this side. So I have to hold it up, pull the trigger, now it is dimpled. It's a good idea after your first dimple to check it out with a rivet. This is the hole that I dimpled. I put a rivet in there and I checked it out, and it looks pretty good. So now we can continue riveting this part. I'm sorry, dimpling this part. And we have to go in the hole, then come down with it. So now all, I guess, 8 holes are dimpled, and they look pretty good. So we're going to continue dimpling this type of part till I finish all of them for both sides, the right elevator and the left elevator. Just as a reminder, this inboard rib, we have to dimple just these 3. They came in dimpled already on top and on the bottom, so I had to dimple these. The other rib for the left elevator is not dimpled, so we have to watch out for that. This is the front spar of the right elevator, and it does have 3 holes here that's going to match with the inboard rib, and it needs to be dimpled flush. So that's what I'm going to do right now, this first three, before I forget. So we got those done. I want to make sure also, every once in a while it's a good idea to check it with the rivet. Looks good. Then we continue. I'm just gonna dimple the upper holes and the lower holes. Actually, it's like that. So yeah, upper and lower. Well, folks, in that last clip that you just saw, I tried to put this hole in the male die, and it did not go. And honestly, it's been a long time since I had the elevator assembled and, you know, final drilled and everything, and I have no clue what this hole is for. And I wasn't gonna shove the die in there. That's not good. I need at least the size of the or the diameter of the pin on the die on there. And I like to use 0.95 for a number 3 rivet anyway. So I had to go back and make sure, when I checked in the manual and against my parts and everything, I knew I was correct. It is a number 3 hole, and it does need to be dimpled. So I brought my 0.95 reamer. I'm going to go ahead and ream that hole, and obviously the opposite hole also, and on the other spar for the left elevator. Yeah, it's pretty sharp. I'm gonna have to chamfer it also. I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera, and I'll be back continuing to dimple the rest of the parts. We're finished dimpling the front spars on both sides, and now the only thing that is left to do from the parts that we buffed and so forth and deburred is the rear spar. Now the rear spar have to be done with the regular yoke. This is our yoke, that 3/4 inch yoke. With the same dimpling die, the reduced diameter female die is on top, and the male die is on the bottom. And in the manual, it tells you you have to grind the yoke or buy a cheap one and grind it so you can, just so you can do this job. I don't see a necessity with our yoke. You don't have to do that. You're going to see that in a minute. One note I just wanted to mention, because somebody called me from Michigan, actually a pretty nice guy. The pin on his yoke that he got broke like 6 times, and every time he buys another set, to the point that he buys 2 full sets every time he buys some, and you break them, and asked me, is there a cheaper way to go about this? So I told him, just buy a 3/8 dowel pin. These are hardened steel, and if you break them, they're only like $1 each or something like that. And what I did from my broken pin, I took the O-ring, you can see, and let me put it in an angle where you can see. I put the O-ring on the dowel pin right here, and one on the other side, and it's holding it in place. It's not gonna go anywhere. So that's a solution for the pin breaking. That's one note. The other note that I want to mention, the whole time while I'm dimpling, I'm thinking I'm just going to start dimpling, and I'm going to go to town, and on the left elevator I'm going to go ahead and dimple this where the trim tab goes. And I didn't have a tape on it. So I wanted to remind myself that this is not going to be dimpled. This is going to be countersunk and all that stuff to have a special operation. To remind myself, I took the hinge pin and I set it inside it while I have it on the table so I wouldn't forget. Then today I thought, okay, it's time, and I put a tape. I put the hinge pin on there and covered all the holes that is going to be done with the hinge pin. That's going to be countersunk. So I covered them with tape so I don't forget, and dimple them. Just as a reminder, one more time, I have to set up for dimpling. I put my yoke on my squeezer, and that's a Cleveland squeezer, and I put it so when I pull my trigger, the dies don't touch. And then finger tight, I tighten it all the way where it doesn't go anymore. Then I let go, and I want to unscrew it where it goes out another half a turn. So I go like this, and I have the flats this way. Now when we pull the trigger, you can see the top jaw go ever so slightly. Now we add material in there, it's gonna go even more, but it will be putting enough pressure, hopefully, to dimple this. And we're gonna dimple one, check it out with a rivet, make sure everything is okay, then we will continue. And we have to be slow with this to come into the hole with the male die. Because if you go fast and you miss the hole, you're going to make an 8-figure, and it's not going to be really nice, and you would have to buy a new one of those. So we dimpled one, and we put the rivet in there. It looks pretty good, looks pretty flush. So another test that we can do, we can just get any flat surface and put it on here, and just try to move the rivet. Just move the rivet with my finger. It will move a little bit, which means it's okay. And this hole to begin with was a number 40 hole, 0.098. If it was up to me, I would do it at 0.095, so the hole would be a little bit smaller after it's dimpled, because dimpling operation opens up the hole quite a bit. And if that was the case, the rivet wouldn't be so loose in there. But this looks good, and we're going to continue the dimpling operation for this side and the other side, minus what we taped. With this, I guess you guys got the hint as far as going. Just make sure when you put this in there, the bottom or the male die doesn't reach the hole, guys. So let's do another one real quick so you can see what I'm talking about here. I am going to go very slow to move up the male die. You see, I missed it. And it goes inside, gun pressure. So, both sides, guys, both sides. You have to go in slow and aim for that hole. Then after it's engaged completely, then you can pull the trigger. Or you have to buy another one of those. And I hope I don't have to do that. So, with that, I'm going to close this video, because the next video is going to be countersinking the other rear spar on the left elevator, where the hinge for the trim tab is going to be. It's a special operation, and we're going to go with the numbers and so forth and setting up the drill press. It's not very complicated, but you need to have a good setup. See, the end result of your elevator after all this work, I mean, you want really nice shape of your elevator, and everything would be flat and everything. So we're going to take our time, set up the drill press, and make a fixture of some sort, so it would make it easy on us. And more than the make it easy part is the consistency, that every countersink will be like the next one, so the trim tab will be floating in the same place from beginning to end. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to our channel because it helps, and please do like the video. If you truly like it, click the like button. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.